All right. Just getting the connection and everything fixed up. All right. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to a Jab stream. I'm Combo Breaker 99. If y'all not familiar, I have a channel, my own individual channel, where I do boxing breakdowns, MMA, MMA talk, WMMA talk. If you want to subscribe to Combo Breaker 99, you go to that channel. I just want to come over here to this channel, the Jab Effect. It's my channel with my man Boxing P. Hopefully in the future we can get on here together and do more live streams. But this one here, man, it's just a test stream. I'm just kind of testing this one out, and I just want to test it out with a fight that's coming up tomorrow. I want to talk about Canelo Alvarez versus Callum Smith. So yeah, man, just let me know, if y'all want to talk or chat. The more and more I do these streams, just pop up in the chat if y'all want to discuss boxing, because that's all I want to do. I just want to come over here and chat through the live stream with y'all about boxing, man. But yeah, this fight here, man, Canelo, man, I know there's a lot of people that feel like this fight's a cherry pick, but I'm kind of on the fence about it. I honestly feel like this is a fight where Canelo is actually trying to pick somebody with some that poses some type of challenge to him. Because even before, like, I know a lot of people felt like Canelo versus Callum, they felt like this was a fight that Callum could win. 2 years ago, people felt that way. When when Canelo chose to take on Rocky Fielding, everybody got pissed off. Everybody was like, "Oh, he's cherry picking." It was like he's cherry picking, but he chose to take on Rocky Fielding at the time instead of a Callum Smith, because people were saying Callum Smith could beat him. But now, a few years later, now that he is taking on Callum Smith, I think Canelo's kind of getting a little bit of flack for that. But I think what I think right now, I think that since Canelo he's became a free agent, and now that he's not tied to Golden Boy, he's not tied down to Golden Boy, he's willing to take that chance now. I think he's kind of put it, he's kind of in that corner now where he has to kind of take these chances and go back and kind of rebuild his legacy a little bit, if you will. I mean, he's got names on his resume, but there are some fights that are kind of questionable, some questionable wins. Even the Kovalev win, some people feel like that was they feel like that was a cherry pick, which in some ways it was. It wasn't the best light heavyweight he could face, but I think this fight against Callum Smith, it is one of the top challenges he can face. I mean, of course, there is Caleb Plant and there is Benavidez as well, but I think that a fight against Callum Smith, we will see a challenge in there. I think that we will see a challenge in there because this is a guy that poses, let me see, height, 6'3", right? Let me double check. Yeah, guy 6'3", has an 8-inch reach advantage on Canelo. And this is something that Canelo's never faced before. Because it seems like everybody forgot, Callum Smith was the winner of the World Boxing Super Series. He won the super middleweight tournament. So that does stand for something. So he does pose some type of challenge and some type of threat to Canelo. I mean, he poses more of a threat than what is his name, Abner Yildirim. So when you think about it, man, like, hey, I gotta say I do kind of like this fight because I wanted to see it 2 years ago, when instead he chose to take on Rocky Fielding. But hey, I'll take this fight now. But yeah, like I said, I'm just kind of testing this stream out here. Just want to see how the connection is. And yeah, hopefully moving forward, I'll do some more. But yeah, if y'all do start popping up in the chat at some point, let me know what y'all think about the fights and the fight coming up. Just checking something right here real quick. Second. All right. So what does Canelo got to do to win this fight? I want to talk about that a little bit. Going into this fight here, I think one of the keys to victory for Canelo is obvious, man. Get on the inside. For Canelo, I mean, you're giving up a lot in height, also in reach advantage. You're at Callum Smith's at 8-inch reach advantage in this fight. So I think for Canelo, he's definitely gonna have to get on the inside early. He's got to get on the inside. You can't stay on the end of Callum Smith, on the end of his punches, because that's where his power comes from. Callum Smith is a long rangey fighter who extends his shots to get his power, extends his shots to get his full power off. So you got to get on the inside of that. You can't really spend any rounds on the outside. You got to get on the inside, and which leads to my second key to victory for Canelo. You got to go to the body. Fighters like this with the long torso, those weak spots can be to the body. You see Roy Jones when he used to fight some of these taller guys that were like 6'2" and up. Roy Jones, he would go straight to that body. He'd rip them to the body, and then he'd go back up to the head. He would break them down slowly, or rip them so hard, they'd have to give up. So for Canelo, that has to be his focus, in my opinion. Got to start the body early. You got to see what Callum offers at first, as far as his timing and his speed. Then as soon as you can, just make it a physical fight. Because to me, the earlier Canelo starts, the quicker he can get him out of there. Because we know Canelo has the power to hurt a guy like Callum Smith. That's no question. Canelo definitely has that type of power. So being physical, get on the inside of that range, cut off the ring, go to his body, and then go up to the head. Those are some keys for Canelo going into this fight. For Callum Smith, man, he got to use that jab early. Canelo has very good head movement, so to really establish a good jab on Canelo, you got to jab to his shoulders and chest. Because you've seen in some of Canelo's past fights how he's going back and forth. How he's able to kind of, he's learned from the Mayweather fights. He's definitely learned from the Mayweather fight, even from the Lara fight. He's been able to move his head, kind of shoulder roll a little bit. So the more you focus on his head, the more you'll get frustrated, and the more you'll fall behind, and the more you'll be open to his counter punches. So for Callum to establish a good jab that's going to be effective, I got to see him jab to the chest and to the shoulders early on. He got to get a little low and get to that body, jab to the body, jab to the chest. And when you knock him back with that, then you come back up top with the two. But yeah, I'm just looking at this tail of the tape right here, man. Cause Kovalev, he was 6'2", right? Yeah, Kovalev is 6'2", but Callum Smith 6'3", and I mean, I'm just looking at this right now, this picture too, man. It's just like, wow, big height advantage, but strength advantage, I can't really say is going to be too crazy in this fight. It's not like Callum Smith really is like this huge hulking guy. He just really has height going into this fight, height and power, but I don't think he really possesses like physical strength that's going to really overpower Canelo any chance in this fight. That's how I was kind of thinking when Canelo fought Sergey Kovalev. I thought that whenever Sergey Kovalev was in there, Kovalev would have been a bit more dominant, popping off a heavy jab, but he was kind of holding back for whatever reason. He was really holding back. That's something else we need to talk about one day. But Kovalev, to me, that was the fight where I felt like, that was a guy who could have switched up his style and put his weight on Canelo and put the strength on it. But for somebody with the build of Callum Smith, Callum Smith, he's got to make this an outside fight. He's got to make this a ranging boxing match where he fully extends his shots, keeps Canelo on the outside, protects his body, because that's where Canelo's definitely going to be going. Canelo's definitely not going to want to overdo it with the head hunting. He's going to have to, he's going to go in there and try to chop this tree down. So I think that, Callum, he's going to definitely have to keep this on the outside and protect the body every single round in this fight, because that's where Canelo is going to be focused. Going back to Canelo's jab. I think that Canelo has a very good solid jab. Sometimes I think we kind of overlook it just because Canelo, he's always putting together such blistering combinations, good combination puncher. We're always looking at the left hook, but I think that Canelo has a good jab. I think he definitely has a good jab that sets up his right hand. So it's definitely, just because you're the shorter fighter, it's definitely not a punch that you have to abandon in this fight just because you are the shorter fighter and you have the shorter reach. You never abandon the jab, in my opinion. I mean, look at the name of the stream, jab stream, right? Look at the name of the channel, the jab effect. The jab is always going to be the key for any fighter. You just got to know how to use it in every situation. I think that's why sometimes I've seen some shorter fighters, they kind of abandon their jab when they fight a longer fighter because they think there's no use for it. But there's always a use for it. There's always a use for it. If you're using it just as a range finder, or if you're using it as a blinder to set up your lead punch, there's always a purpose for it. So I want to see Canelo get his jab going early on, and he could benefit with hitting to the chest. He could benefit with hitting Callum to the chest, because you don't want to have to reach so high that you leave yourself open. So you could always just jab to his chest, then go to his body, feint with those left hooks, and you can open up a lot of power shots with that. So it's going to be interesting, man, just seeing Canelo, how he handles a guy this tall. Like I said, I know we've seen this before, a similar situation with the Kovalev fight, but I think this one's going to be a little bit more up to speed. Kovalev fight just seems so weird. I mean, politics aside, even the approach that Kovalev took, it was just like, is this guy really in here trying to fight? I know he took the fight on short notice after the Yard fight, but he really looked like he wasn't trying anything in there. So I wasn't impressed at all. This one here, to me, I consider it more of a step up than that Kovalev fight. But yeah, man, if I had to pick in this one, definitely gonna go with Canelo. I'm gonna go with Canelo maybe like a stoppage in the second half in this one. I could see Canelo getting some feeling out rounds early on, but I think as soon as Canelo starts hitting that body and they start falling into place, Canelo can put punches together. I think he's going to show less respect than he did in the Golovkin fight. Like, you won't see Canelo on the back foot trying to avoid power shots like he was in that fight. I think you'll see him meeting Callum Smith in the middle more so, and you'll see Canelo in there trying to dip and dodge in, not exactly like Tyson or anything, like full on Tyson, but I could see him going in there, wading his way in to get to the body and doing a lot of clinching. Doing a lot of clinching in this fight. Fighters with the style like Callum Smith, they're not really dogs in there. Some of these UK fighters are not really like full-on dogs that are used to that inside fighting. They're used to more of the rangy fighting. So I could see Canelo going in there, making this a inside fight, going to the body, doing some of the things that John Ryder did, forcing him to the ropes and smothering the range. Maybe early on, Callum might pop off a few good power shots here and there, but I don't really see him hurting Canelo. Maybe touching him a few times with the jab, but I don't see Canelo like falling in, just falling into some rhythm where he can't get on the inside of a guy like Callum Smith. I think the IQ of Canelo's getting better and better. Well, let me put it this way. I think it's better than it was. See, this is something I might talk about in another video one day, because Canelo's IQ is better. It was reaching a peak, but right now, I think that off of his opponent selection, sometimes I kind of think it's almost hitting a plateau, if you will. Like, he's at a plateau. But the minute he starts taking some of these challenges, it'll kind of show more improvement, if you will. if that makes sense. So yeah, going into this fight, I think that he definitely holds more experience than Callum Smith. I think he's the harder puncher in there, the better combination puncher, and he has more tools to his advantage that he knows how to execute than Callum Smith. I know Callum Smith definitely has some tools in here, but I don't know if he knows how to fully execute them against an experienced guy like Canelo Alvarez, if you get what I'm saying. You know, he has the height, he has the jab, he has the reach, but does he know how to time some of the things that Canelo does? Does he know how to make those adjustments on the fly that Canelo's gonna, the different threats that Canelo's gonna pose to him early on? But yeah, that's my pick for this one. I'm gonna go with Canelo Alvarez probably by, I want to say, maybe like 8th or 9th round stoppage in this fight. I think it's going to be interesting early on, but I think, like I said, Canelo, he's just going to fall into his rhythm, put punches together, break the body down, and then catch Callum with maybe like a punch upstairs. Catch him with like a punch upstairs, maybe like a left hook, because he knows how to get those left hooks in, like even on the taller fighters. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be a good fight. Like I said, I know it's not the Benavidez fight, and it's not the fight that people want as far as even Caleb Plant, but I think it's going to be a good one. It's better than the fight that's going down tonight, the Triple G fight. Let me see. Who it started, right? The Golovkin fight's already. Did the card start already? I don't even know if I want to watch that fight right now. I might check it out and then discuss with y'all again on another stream where y'all think Golovkin is going from here. Shout out to my man Boxing P. I know he's a Golovkin fan, but he knows I'm more of a. I was riding with Canelo in that fight too, so Oh wow! Oh, the fight's over. Camille, what is his name? Camille Zermita. Golovkin already got the guy out of there, like we expected different. Hold on, let me see here. I want to just see what round it was in. Oh, 7th round knockout. But who was the guy? Like, do y'all even know who that guy was? Like, come on. Oh man. Well, yeah, y'all, I just wanted to get on here for like a 20-30 minute stream. I just wanted to test out a stream on this channel, and I'm gonna come through some more. Oh, shout out, what's up, Marcus? Marcus done jumped over here. He jumped to the jab stream. Yeah, Marcus, man. Marcus, I'm not even gonna try to watch that fight. I'm not either, honestly, man, because I'm like, come on, man, it's over anyway. The fight's over, Marcus, so don't even worry. Bruh, I'm not watching that fight. I mean, there's a lot of options out there for Triple G. I mean, Triple G need to be in there with Demetrius Andrade, Billy Joe Saunders. So many fights out there. Charlo. I think that Golovkin is just looking for a few more paydays, Marcus. That's what that is. Like, I've been waiting all these years for like Golovkin to step out the box, man, but it just ain't happening. Oh yeah, Marcus. Just in case I'm sure you know, right? That the coach said his interview is going to be done on December 28th or something. Yeah. He said, yeah, coach said interview with Sam Hughes will be on December 28th. Triple G, the #1 can crusher, bruh. Oh man, dude. Man, I've been waiting for Golovkin to do something, man. Like when he first hit the scene, I've been waiting for him to do something, but he disappointed me, yo. But yeah, man, in the future, yeah, Marcus, in the future on this channel, me and my man, Boxing P, we got a boxing podcast. We've been doing for a minute now, almost like 3 years, a little over 3 years. Hopefully, I get him more on these live streams. We'll be talking more over here. Yeah, so always check them notifications over here. Whenever we can get them in, we try to. He said Triple G #1 can crusher. You're not lying. Man, let's see what else is going on box wise. I'm like, hold up, like, come on. Ain't nobody out there for you, Triple Golovkin. Come on. Let's see who else is. Oh, Ramirez comes back tonight against Lopez. Actually, Marcus, an MMA talk. On this MMA talk, I don't know if you know who Jillian DeCourcy is, Marcus. You know who that is, right? I know she's got a fight tonight on UFC Fight Pass. I got to check that out. Yeah, let me see. It's not Invicta or anything like that. Let me check out the organization, though. I know Love is Young. She has a fight coming up, too. All right, hold on. Let me see. What organization is it on? Oh, CFFC MMA on UFC Fight Pass. Yeah, the card started at 8, so her fight might already taken place. But yeah, I gotta go back and check that out. But yeah, like I said, just doing a little test one on here. I wanted to talk Canelo and Callum Smith. Try to get on here and do some more after I jump off my channel. But yeah, just make sure y'all subscribe. And yeah, Marcus, I'll catch up with you, bro. All right, later, y'all.